hangout, and I'd imagine the technology has come a little bit further since then.
Well, hey, we are live. I have no idea if anyone's going to be watching this. I highly doubt it. I have a little viewer count down here, but we are officially live on YouTube. So, Ryan, if you want to kind of take over, just talk for a little bit. That way we can just check the audio.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So if anybody is out there listening, my name is Ryan Metzler. You may or may not know who I am, but I've been a reviewer for the Dice Tower for the last, I don't know what it's been, 5 or 6 years now, probably at this point. Big proponent of heavier games, was kind of the heavy game coverage on that channel, and have since kind of fallen out of the ability to do my reviews. So I thought that this might be a good forum for me to come back and advocate a little bit for the heavier gamers out there and kind of give a focus on that topic.
And so this is kind of a test run. My name is Joe Wiggins. I'm real active on social media. A lot of people know me from the board game group, which has about 6,000 members or 15,000 members or so on Facebook. And so I'm on there a lot talking about heavy games and stuff like that. And so I've just kind of been just in the scene for a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of get something going to talk about heavy games. There's some great coverage out there. I know Heavy Cardboard is a phenomenal podcast to listen to, but we just wanted to kind of start something just to talk about these kind of games and kind of give them their due in a little bit of a way. But this is going to be very different from what they do. We're not trying to replicate it. We're trying to do more of a roundtable discussion type of a show. But right now we're just kind of getting on here, testing some stuff out, seeing how the audio quality goes.
Yep, and we just lost your video, just for the record. Oh, you skipped on video a little bit, so at least something to watch out for.
Okay. What did you play any games today?
I did. So I'm actually currently sitting in a board game-based bar called Binary in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on my computer, sitting in a back room. If I spin you around here, you can all types of stuff. But we just got done with the game of Tichu. So not really a heavy game per se, but probably one of the heavier trick takers out there.
Tichu is not a heavy game, but only heavy gamers play Tichu.
I think that's probably true. They play it as kind of like a break type of a thing, but it's very serious when they do play it. I mean, it's a serious game.
My main issues with Tichu are the fact that it is legitimately like so hard to play with people that know that game. It's like the reason I kind of got when I first started gaming, the reason I got turned off to Race for the Galaxy was because I played against people that were so good at it that they just completely destroyed me, and it just kind of turned me off to the game. Like they didn't want to help, they didn't want to give strategy advice. They just played against me, and when it's one of those games that when you know it, you know.
Well, I played against Tom Lehman. And so I had a chance to sit down with him at a convention and play Race for the Galaxy against Tom. And I'm pretty sure that without paying attention to the game and without looking at his cards very closely, he still stomped me by an unsurmountable amount of points. I mean, it was crazy.
Good. So my wife just came downstairs and said that the audio quality is sounding good from the YouTube. So that's good to know.
Good.
So as soon as we can get Clay on here, we can just talk real quick for a few minutes and then get going. I played Great Western Trail today, and it is phenomenal. I really have enjoyed a lot of Alexander Pfister's games, Mombasa probably being my favorite, but also his heaviest. And he hasn't made a ton of heavy games. Mombasa is really the first one. And I would say Great Western Trail is very much on that par of it. It's a good medium to medium high complexity. I wouldn't call it a heavy game, but it's much heavier than a medium weight.
Sure.
But it's really interesting. Basically, it has a deck building mechanic where you have a deck of different cow cards. And so when you start, there's just 3 different colors of 2 cows and then some 1 cows. And basically, there's these buildings along the board, and you're going to be going around the board discarding cows to take actions to get different things. And then the goal is to get, because let's say if I had 2 green cows that were both worth 2, I could only count 1 of them when I get to the end. And so basically you go through this board, through all these buildings, doing different actions to kind of cull your hand, do some different stuff for the end goal to be that you're going to get to the final place and have a hand of cards that are all different colors, all different values in order to to be able to place tokens in cities. And it has an interesting mechanic where the tokens that you place in cities, there's different colored cities that lets you take off different tokens from different places on your player board. It allows you to unlock different abilities at different rates. People are doing different strategies with them. There's 3 different types of workers that you can add to your player board to give you different special powers, bonuses that unlock. There's different, it's one of those games where there's a million mechanics working together, and one of those things where so many different strategies to pursue and different avenues and paths to go down. But once you really kind of get into the groove of it, the game flows really, really smoothly. But it's also just one of those ones that I need to play it like 3 more times before I come to a conclusion of whether or not I think it's balanced. Because there's so many different strategies. And the 3 of us that were playing, all were doing our strategies very, very well. And we all did 3 completely different things. I scored 120 and won. The second place guy, we played 3 players, had 103, which isn't a huge disparity. And then the other guy got 47 points.
I would caution against judging it off of a 3-player game. I don't know the game at all, but I would caution judging any game that plays more than 3 off of a 3-player total. Yes. Given that there tends to always be a disparity in that 3rd player in the point total. You'll find 2 players tend to kind of pack together, and the 3rd player, and this is not true of all games, but in a vast majority of 4 or more player games that you can play 3 with, there tends to be the scenario where 2 people compete and the 3rd one is kind of shoved off to the side.
Well, this I would not say is like that, because this has 0 player interaction at all. I mean,
so what you did just didn't work.
Yes, it was just there's no player interaction. So this literally adding a player, all it does is make it a little bit more cramped, but you don't block anyway. Just like the places that you can place your buildings are become a little bit more limited. But then the only other thing with adding players is it adds time. So it's one of those games. It's like Agricola with 3 players usually is about the same as Agricola with 4 players, as far as one person doesn't fall behind because of something that happens. It's just it just adjusts for that because there's not a lot of interaction in that way. So it's not like 2 players can gang up on another player, you know?
Right. Well, I'm not even saying it tends to be a gang up. It's just sometimes the 3rd player tends to get lost in the shuffle because of the way things happen. But no, I understand what you're saying.
Okay. Well, Clay just texted me, and he's going to be on at 10:30. So anytime that you need to get off and go, that's fine. And I'll stay on and wait for Clay to get on, and then I'll talk to Clay for a little bit.
Okay. I have people waiting for me. I told them I was probably going to be a half an hour, but they told me if they could get going sooner, they would appreciate it. So, I mean, it's up to you. Whatever you want me to do at this point.
Oh, we can talk for a few more minutes just to give me a little bit more audio. One thing that I do want to point out is if you are on the microphone that you are using, the second you turn your head, there's no audio. So early
doesn't work, but
that does a little bit, but it's very unclear. But there was, but like when you were showing the room earlier, there was no sound.
Okay, so it's very directional. Good to know. I may or may not use this mic in the long run, but I wanted to see if this would work, because if I am traveling during a show, this will be the microphone.
Gotcha.
But I have another one separate from this that will be more friendly to directionality.
I want to try this real quick. I have some settings on my microphone, and I'm not sure which is better. And so you said that right now I'm coming through pretty clear, right?
Yes.
If I move it to this setting, does it change anything at all?
Click back in the middle of a sentence.
What's that?
Start a sentence and then click back to the other one in the middle.
So earlier today, I was playing 1846, and during it's the exact same. Okay, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure. I think one has pickup availability from further away, but I think when you're up close, both are probably the same.
I'm hearing something squeaking in the background, but I don't know what it is. So
that is my wife getting something out of the kitchen.
Okay, I can hear that. So
I think if I had it at the 1 setting, that picks up. Yeah, okay. The 3 I think picks up less ambient sound. So
so you might want to use that instead.
Okay, but yeah, so I guess just to continue talking, this bad boy right here. has been easily my game of the year that Clay picked up from me at. I love how they're just very unabashed and want people to know what they're getting into. The epic strategy game. So
I'm down for that, though.
It's good, though. Have you played Roads and Boats?
No, but I see it on your shelf.
Yes, it's in my top 3 or 4 favorite games of all time. It's in the top 5. I love it. I would say that this is Roads and Boats because it's all about resource conversion and building buildings and stuff like that, but less logistics because Roads and Boats is all about getting your stuff on transporters and moving them around the board. And this does not have any of that. This more has infrastructure. So you gain the stuff, convert it, and everything like that. But you're using it to kind of run a town, put people to work in different places and stuff like that. So it's more infrastructure, less logistics. And so I haven't gotten enough plays of it to really finalize how much I love it. All I know is that I love it a lot.
Very cool. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff out there that I've been looking to play. Like I said, I've been trying to get to, Great Western Trail?
Yeah.
I've been trying to get to that one. I've been trying to get to, I haven't played the new Rosenberg.
Feast Road.
Yeah, I haven't played it. Yeah, I haven't played that yet, so I'm a little bit behind. One of these days.
Well, let me ask you, where do you fall on the debate of Agricola versus Caverna?
I was an Agricola person. But we now only own Caverna. So let's put it in the category of my wife preferred Caverna, and so if we were going to get to play one of them, it was going to be that one. So that's what we own now.
Was it a tension thing?
Yeah, a little bit. I like the cutthroat nature of Agricola, where I do something, you're not going to do it, and if you may not get enough food simply because I took an action to screw you, and that's not a part of Caverna. It just doesn't happen that way.
No, I fall very heavily on the side of Agricola, and my wife does too. My wife likes Agricola; she likes the tightness of it.
Sure,
she likes the cards. Caverna doesn't have the cards.
No cards,
and instead of the cards, it has a million buildings and stuff like that, and I don't think Caverna is a terrible game. I do think it's my least favorite of his games. But I would say Feast for Odin, if you tend towards the Caverna side, you're going to like it a lot more.
Okay.
Now,
so my wife would love it. Okay.
Me being somebody that tends towards the Agricola side, I still really like it. And I know that I've heard some people say that they don't like it, but I know for me, for how I feel about it, is it boils down to this, is yes, it's open. Yes, there's not a lot of tension in the game, but it just comes down to the fact that it's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a fun puzzle.
So what's your favorite Rosenberg then?
Aura Labora, hands down.
Okay. You're an Aura person. Okay. I think we don't own a lot of them anymore. So we've owned probably the vast majority of what he's made in the past. So we've owned Le Havre and Aura and Loyang and Agricola and Caverna and on. Our fields. That. We've owned that.
I have,
pretty much that. And we have very little of it left, to be honest with you.
Them all. Yeah.
Well, I'm not a collection keeper. I'm I keep what I play at this point. So
somebody once said to me, because I owned about 400 games, and I looked at my shelves one day once I started getting into heavier games, and I realized to myself, I said, you know what? I don't even like half of these games. Like, I own so many light games and so much like new hotness that I just didn't care for. I wasn't ever going to play it again, and so I culled hugely. I culled hundreds of games, and so I still have a very large collection because I had a very large disposable income for a while. I have a child on the way, so that stopped a lot. But the one thing I've decided now is, a friend of mine said it's not the number of games in your collection that matters, but it's the quality of the games in your collection that matter. And I agree with that highly. But I've also taken to the fact that I'm not so much a collector, but I am now what I consider a curator in a way.
Okay.
So we were talking earlier, and like, I don't mind having Spielworks games that I don't like, but they're so hard to find that I just like having the Spielworks games.
Sure, I hear you. I mean, I have some of those games that are just sitting in my collection, right? I mean, that like I have collector's editions of things that you just can't get. They just don't exist anymore.
Right.
Or like I have a copy of the original Imperios Millenarios. I don't know if you're familiar with that game.
I'm very familiar with it. Hopefully, I'll be getting a copy in a couple weeks.
Okay, so I have the original one in the long wooden box with like the slider.
Leather. Oh, see, just when you did that, no sound.
Okay, so backing up, no sound.
Or at least very, it changed drastically.
Okay, yeah, so the leather one, yes, the leather and wood edition. So I have one of those, and those basically don't exist. Like those aren't a thing. But I have one of those. I mean, I keep some of these things where you can't get it. It's not an object in existence anymore. But the number one the number one thing, I guess, when it's come to my collection and the size and what I have is it's come to this where if somebody enjoys the same kind of games I enjoy, I like being the guy that they can come over, or we can go to a game day and they can be like, oh, I've always wanted to play such and such, and I can go, I have it. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind being that guy. Sure.
Really cool, actually. Are you familiar with this at all?
Yeah, I used to own that.
Okay. I have been wanting this forever. I have the Climbers, but I've been really wanting this. I've played it a couple times, and this was sent to me. And again, this is another one of those you can't get it kind of a thing. Right. This was sent to me by my board game Secret Santa.
Nice.
Just a couple days ago. And I was blown away. I was just like, best gift ever. And I'm still in the heavy cardboard Secret Santa, and I just got an email from them, and so they were I just got a anonymous geek mail from my heavy cardboard Secret Santa, and he said many packages will be arriving soon. And so that's kind of, I'm like, ooh, many packages.
Very cool. All right, man, I should probably jump off at this point, but
yeah, no problem at all.
All right, hopefully that'll be enough audio.
All right, yes.
All
right, good talking to you, Ryan. Bye.
Yeah, good talking to you. Bye-bye.